Or acknowledge where the data came from in the presentation.
They knew that I was, working with their data and stuff like that, but I think that people still want you to contact them before you go and present it. And looking back, I probably should have asked a few people if they wanted to be authors on the title slide, even though they didn't, put together the presentation at all. Because, I mean, you have the acknowledgments at the end, and usually everyone is like getting up to go to the next talk, or, it just kind of, people don't really listen to it or look at it. So that's why I think it would be better to contact them and see if they wanted to be like on the title page. That would be my recommendation.
So if, say I'm working with a lot of data which is kind of available online from NCBC and the Snow and Ice Data Center, and there I don't really have to contact anyone before using it, is what I'm assuming, because the data is available for public access on their websites anyway.
I would still contact them and just kind of let them know that you're using your data, just what the purpose is. Yeah, I would just still go ahead and do that.
More professional courtesy than getting permission, but it kind of covers your butt too, because that way, if whatever problems come up, you have somebody who knows what you've been up to, who knows the data well. It just, I don't know, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, plus that Snow and Ice data, if it's the same one that I'm thinking of, it's god-awful data. And there's lots of errors in it, because the person down at Fish and Game went through the Snow and Ice data and put it into a different type of database. And she was contacting the authors a lot, because she just kept finding mistakes. So, that's something that maybe they haven't updated their website or their metadata, and that maybe is something in a passing email that they could let you know. So, yeah.
If there is a well-known data that everyone knows, yeah, these are facts.
Like the census?
Yeah, so do I need to go and find who the author and then talk to
well, if it's, pretty widespread and popular data, you might not have to, but like, I still would, if there isn't metadata, I definitely would contact the people, but I still think out of professional courtesy, just dropping them an email saying that you are going to use it, I think would be a good thing to do. Like the SNAP program, the Scenario Network for Alaska Planning, has tons of data on their website and is used by a lot of people, but most of them, I believe, do contact, us to, saying that they're going to be using it. Kind of, people usually just have general questions. It's rare to find a database that is just up in front and clear, and you know what every single column is, so that's why I would still contact them.
And then also, as the people providing the data, then they know that they're providing useful information to people too.
And it's always interesting to see someone's hard work went into putting together that database, and it is interesting to see what it does get used for.
Or if they're continually getting the data, then maybe they will continue to get it if they know people are using it.
Yeah, that's another good point.
So contacting and letting them know is one thing, but contacting them for authorship is a different thing. So in these public databases, like, is that still an issue? Could that be an issue?
Well, I guess it depends on how heavily that database is the focus of your research project. Like from when I used, the 21 different layers, that by no means did those people want to be authors, because it was just such little parts of the whole grand scheme of the project. Whereas if you're heavily depending on a database, then it might be worth it to ask about authorship, and you can kind of get a feel for how involved that particular database is going to be, how much contact you have with the authors. If you only contact the owner like once or twice, then it might not be worth it to talk to them if they want to be authors. But if you're in contact with them, a number of times, then I think it's worth it. It's theirs to turn down, and it also covers your butt again. If they turn it down and you write a paper that they don't like, well, you had a chance to have a say in it.
do want to be involved, then maybe their editing at the end could be really beneficial. They have a really good sense of the database.
And how about the biasness or neutrality? If there's someone there has very valuable data and I would like to call him and say, hey, I'd like to put your data, and then he or she figure out that he has no problem with you, but then I talk with the person and he goes, oh no, you cannot use my data.
Well, then, I mean, I would be suspicious. Why suddenly doesn't he want you to use your data? What's wrong with it that you can't use it? I really wouldn't want to deal with someone who would act kind of like that, kind of acting like a jerk, you know? And I mean, if you really do have to press it, I mean, you could look into whether legally they have to release the data. Some data.
Well, that was gonna be
Yeah,
my
most
question.
data.
There's a lot of data that's supposed to be public in like wildlife biology, but it can be pretty political.
Yeah.
Just deciding who actually gets it. I mean, it can be pretty hard to access some of that data, and you know, a lot of people I've requested data from, they're kind of interested to see what my philosophy and point of view on conservation and things is before they give it to me. Like, it doesn't seem like this subjective, open, free, you know, little data utopia. It's like, you know, people have different agendas, or they at least have different missions, the governments they work for, and various things like that. So, I don't know. I think I generally have a similar philosophy about authorship, but it makes me nervous. And I'm not sure what to do about that, because
And as a PhD student, like, I'm particularly feel nervous that if I'm dealing with people outside my committee, how my committee is going to react to that.
Well,
Or especially about collecting data from outside and offering them authorship.
well, you can have conditions to your authorship, you know, kind of like a, you know, little mini contract, you know, some rules. If this happens, then yes, you're able to be an author. You could have some things in there about, you know, not censoring the data, or, you know, you must, you know, at least, you know, read it, you know, 5 times or something like that, you know. You could, I haven't really ran into that type of thing, but I can see it happening, especially in Alaska. But, yeah. So maybe if you know some people who have used controversial data, I know Colin, like Byer, I think was his name. He was a first year. Yeah.
Studying forests and
Forests, and he dealt like with agencies in the Tonga National Forest, and that was a pretty, you know, that's pretty controversial. So someone like that might have some insight as far as how to deal with people who have different agendas and not just objective science, you know. So, unfortunately, yeah, I haven't had to deal with that. Okay, and these are just some examples of some potential big issues that a database could have. Like monthly temperature, the weather station in Fairbanks hasn't always been at the airport. And so if you just had the data and we're just looking at the temperatures and you saw a subtle change and suddenly got a lot colder because the airport is colder, you know, without talking to someone or looking into it, you might not know it. Like hibernation, temperature, better equipment, you get less variation. Like what I mentioned with the mood surveys, shift in density was just due to a different survey method. Maybe they started circling more intensively, so they're able to get better numbers. And then the example of the person who's looking at community harvest, and there's issues with the person conducting them. And I've done a lot of lab work, and you do get different values if you use, can be different values if you use a different piece of lab equipment. So just some ideas to think about. This is the example where it's from the Department of Workforce and Labor for the state. And these are 2 databases that are supposed to represent the population size in Alaska. And they're highlighted in yellow. They obviously give you different results. And on the website it says that different results may be due to different methods, different reasons for collecting the data. So that's why I've contacted them, because these 2 databases, one says that there's been an 18% change in population size since 1990, and the other one says 7%.